Hi, I'm Haley Sprinkle and I'm from Brit& Co. It's so nice to meet y'all.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I'm really, really excited about the show, both just like as an avid TV watcher and a journalist myself. And so I'm curious if either of you had any journalists in particular that you look to for inspiration for your characters.
I mean, it was kind of easy for me because I really just looked to Amy Chozick, our creator. I felt
Yeah.
she I think wrote most of Sadie's dialogue anyway, and her voice is really prominent in Sadie. So I took most of my inspiration from her.
Yeah, there's a couple activists and like political influencers that I really love that I'll just give a shout out to whose work I love. One of them is Moj, that's her handle MOJ. And one is Erica Hart. Her handle's I Heart Erica.
I like her.
Another one, which she's one of my favorites, and I should fact check this before saying it, but her name is Lene Vinay, but I might be saying it wrong, so someone somewhere correct me. But all three of those people, they're so smart, and I just really I like to follow them, and because they're really doing their research and putting it out in a way that I think is accessible and cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. And, just in the way that you're talking about these journalists and influencers, it makes me think about there's so much female friendship and mentorship on this show. And so I'm curious if you have a woman in your life who is the biggest influence for you. And that could be a friend, another actor,
We're gonna
whomever
say it
comes
on the
to
count
mind.
of three.
One,
One, two, three. Carla Gugino.
No, seriously, that's so true. When I saw her as the mom of my kids, I
That's
knew.
iconic.
She is iconic, and all three of us, me, Natasha, and Christine, I think we just would do anything
We
Carly
copied her entire lifestyle. Yeah, we shot in New York, which is where she lived. The restaurants, the food, what to eat, where to go, what plays to see. That's crazy. Wow, are we mind melding? Yeah, she's the best. I'm sure there's like others that we love,
Of
but
course,
Carla
yeah.
is
But in this
she's
context
mother.
specifically, yeah, she is mother.
Yeah.
And she, does she know it? She knows it.
We should ask her. We
Yeah.
should go in the other room and ask her. I don't know. She must
It's
know.
it's giving art imitates life massively. Like
Yes,
I
Yeah,
feel like
absolutely.
very meta.
that's awesome. Yeah, and so I guess my next question, this is actually kind of perfect because if your art is imitating your life, this show talks a lot about authenticity and versus objectivity and what the difference is and all of that. And I'm curious when you, as like individuals, not necessarily the characters on the show, when do you feel like you're your most authentic self?
Hmm.
Such a sweet
That is a
question.
sweet question.
Thanks.
I feel like I'm most, this is, maybe this is silly. The first thing that came to my mind is like when I'm dancing, which feels like a very silly answer,
That's not
but
silly
I
whatsoever.
feel really myself when I'm dancing.
She's a fantastic dancer.
That's a sweet thing.
Oh, I've seen on the show. I saw the moves.
On
I
the
love
show, me and Panic. I'm like, when do I dance on the show? Um, yeah, I don't know. Do you have an answer? Maybe more. I'm trying to think. Or when I'm
I
like with my
think
friends.
I think that I feel the most authentic when I'm present
Yeah.
and patient, and especially as a parent, like when I really zero in and am with my son and my husband, and like truly just listening to what they have to bring, and giving myself to them, and that's when I feel the most true to myself.
That's
I
beautiful.
love that. Those were both fantastic answers. Um, we kind of got like a little bit about y'all personally out of the way, but I'm curious about some big picture themes that the show touches on. And I think you both are like the millennial and the Gen Z journos on the bus. And I'm curious, like, we really get a nice snapshot of Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z and the divides between them. I'm really interested to know what y'all think brings each generation together. Because obviously you see these bonds on the show, but do you think there's any one thing, many things, anything at all?
Something that pops into my head immediately that I love that the show does is my character Lola has a moment with Carla's character actually, who Grace, where they obviously come from very different generations and they're butting heads. And Lola says to her, the world has changed. Like, that's kind of my whole viewpoint. It's changed. And then later you see a scene where Carla's character Grace is speaking with her father and somebody else, and they say something, and she says back to them the same line. Her character says, "Well, don't you think the world has changed?" And then I think everybody's realizing like we're so different and we come from different generations, but the nuance and the truth is that maybe we're all fighting for the same thing, just in different ways. And you think you're so different in the details. But if you peel that onion back at the core, you're much more similar than you think. We all are.
Especially with these four women, they all, I think, first and foremost, care about finding the truth. And they care about what they do and what they're putting out into the world and how they're affecting the world. And they want the truth.
And it brings them together.
And it brings them together.
I love that. And kind of bouncing off of that, you know, it's a very important election year this year. And so when people are watching this show, what do you hope that they take away from that?
I hope they take away that every election year is an important election year.
Yeah.
That's something that we just have to know from now on. We cannot ever be complacent. We all have to vote in every election. We all need to be as informed as possible. We have to participate, or it's going to get out of hand. And you know, I think we're seeing that play out.
Yeah, it sort of is, right? Yeah. I agree with you. I think I would also say that maybe like love thy neighbor a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because in our show, you do see a lot of different perspectives, but hopefully people will watch the show and fall in love with everyone the way we fell in love making it. And I think that's important. You know, it's important to not see a headline that somebody posted and put all your walls up, because what if you read through the whole thing or asked them why they posted that or where that's coming from, and suddenly it's kind of like what I said before, you're like, oh, weirdly, if I peel back all these layers that I supposedly hate about you, at the core, are you saying what I'm saying?
Yeah. Empathy is huge, and I hope people take that from this show.
Yeah.
I love that. And as my final question, wrapping up, obviously I just binged this show, but I'm curious to know what your last binge was.
Mine was so dark.
Was it?
True Detective Night Country. It was a dark place to be, and we binged it. Don't know why we binged it. It was a really dark place. I love Jodie Foster. I love her.
It's hard to binge shows that put you in a dark place, though.
Yeah.
Because then you're kind of like, wah, wah.
Yeah, I need a palate cleanser, so I don't know what.
I'm going to give you a palate cleanser unless you've already seen it, which is the last thing I just binged, which is Love on the Spectrum.
Oh my God, I love Love on the Spectrum.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was like really sick like 2 weeks ago, so I was just watching a lot of reality TV, and it is beautiful, positive.
So good for your heart.
Gives you hope for the world.
Yes.
It's like the most wholesome show ever. Yeah.
I love that. I definitely need to add that to my watch list.
It's gonna make you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I need more of that in my life because, I mean, like I find myself binging like True Detective or The Sopranos and stuff like that. It can get a little Breaking Bad, you know. It's a lot of heavy stuff going on. So I'll definitely add that to my list. But I really appreciate you both for chatting with me today. Congratulations on such an amazing show. And I look forward to watching your next projects.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
Bye, y'all.